All right, Canes fam. It's Spike Drop. We're back talking about Gridiron Grandmasters because it is the football season and we have to talk about how good or bad the strategy is by our coaching staff each week. All week, I've been hearing about people talk shit about our offensive coordinator for good reason against Alabama. So let's go over these play calls or lack thereof. I would like to call out 365 Canes football. They did some amazing analysis of certain plays throughout this game. Definitely check them out on Twitter. I put their logo in the bottom left corner so that you know which plays that they reviewed. So, anyway, so we start off this game already behind the eight ball, but we start off with two very excellently drawn up plays where we do play action wonder. We run the quarterback, roll out Derek King to the other side of the formation, and we get him in space. He's very comfortable, completes a 7 yard pass there. Similar play, the next play completes a 7 yard pass again to our tight end. Keep that in mind. We're not going to see Will Mallory until about the third quarter of this game because after that, we decided that all the good things we were doing would be too easy for Alabama to follow. So we just stopped doing them and did a bunch of other stuff that wasn't very helpful. But because of the two plays that stretched the formation left and right, we're able to run right up the middle with Cam Harris. And then we've got shooting ourselves in the foot syndrome. False start, run the ball off of a option play, which was not bad, but not great either. And then 3rd and 7, the as we've now called it, the infamous draw play. Um, we're trying to draw Harley across the formation, try to run it off tackle. I hate this formation. I'll just go ahead and say I hate the fact that we've got a pistol formation. It just doesn't work with our personnel, with our setup. This whole game, it almost never works running out of pistol. And I just don't think it will work against App State today either. So, anyway, we get the ball back. We're already down 10-0. What do? We run motion. We try to run again out of pistol formation off of one end, 1 yard. Then we try to do this like quad to the left formation, try to run off the other end, or actually try to run up the middle, but it's an option off the other end. Again, pistol formation does nothing for us. So then on 3rd and 8, we do get a completion, and I love the fact that we were willing to attack this Alabama defense right in the heart, which we never did last year against any defenses. This year, we are being aggressive in the middle of the field, and I like that. I don't know why it took us until 3rd and long to do that, but it's good. So, our opening strategy for today, the Larson attack. This is very important because it's unusual. We attack the flanks first, just like we were rolling out our quarterback right and doing a play action to the left. We're stretching the field laterally first, just like in chess. You prepare. I mean, there's a lot of chess terms here, but just basically by moving this pawn up first, you create space for the wide receiver to do some damage from the side, and you attack the middle by opening up the flanks first. So this is a great setup when you do it right. Now, I will say that even though the person who made this famous, Larson, was very successful, he suffered a setback when he played it against the world champion and lost in 17 moves. This is the actual ending position of that game where the world champion absolutely demolished Larson when he attempted to do this. I think that sounds very familiar. I think that the fact that we didn't develop any of these pieces as Larson, very similar to what Miami didn't do against Alabama. We did not develop our pieces sufficiently, and so it's great to have an idea to be, you know, whatever hyper modern, unusual, whatever, but you still have to do the basic stuff right. And Larson got destroyed by the world champion, just like we got destroyed by Alabama. So moving on. We're already down 17-0 in the second quarter, and Derek King finally gets to move outside the pocket, but it's because he had to scramble. No more designed rollouts for King for at least 2 quarters of play, because why would we? Again, it only worked really well in the first drive, just like throwing to Will Mallory was very successful. So we're just going to go away from it. So what we need is that consistency against App State. So here we go. He got sacked. He didn't even get to move, just so we're completely aware. When he got hit here, the line collapsed on him. And because we weren't already having a design rollout one way or the other, he had no way to be mobile to avoid the pressure. Okay, so now they get the ball back, and now we're down 20-0. All right, loss of 2 yards off of a play action pass in the screen. Well-designed play, poorly blocked. Again, check out 365 Canes football to see how they break it down. 2nd and 12, we once again do a screen pass out to the left. This is very similar to last year where we didn't feel like we could have any push up the middle, so we just start doing these very, very passive passes behind the line of scrimmage to try and get some lateral movement. Fine, but again, there's also another way to do it. We did it earlier in the game. You roll out King, you may put him into a position where he can run and pass, make him more dangerous. And again, we don't do that at all. 3rd and 10. Again, he has to scramble right up the gut because we didn't feel like we could get any sort of rollout action. So then we end up having yet another punt. So then we start all over again. And now we've got Chaney in the game. He gets a push up the middle. Great, good stuff. Next play, complete for 10 yards off a play action to Chaney, right in the middle, I'd say the heart of the Alabama defense. Awesome, keep it rolling. And then he gets sacked. Why? Because, again, he didn't move anywhere. That's not motion. That's not a rollout. You're not putting him in position to be successful. And so it's that mix. We had the ingredients. We just decided not to use them. So sacked again. Why not? And then again, he's just barely moving out of the pocket. There is no designed rollout outside of the tackles on either side. And it just really hurt us the whole game. It doesn't matter what sort of funky formation you have. If you're not moving the quarterback when he's that mobile, it's not helpful. So 3rd and 18, a safe pass. We basically just did a dump off again behind the line of scrimmage. We've all seen this movie before. And so now we're looking at 27-0. And finally, I think this is the drive that we actually get something going. So he did a quick pass to Rambo on the outside. Then Cam runs up the middle for 3 yards. No deception here. We're just going at them. There you go. A play action pass off of the run from the play before. Get 7 yards. Okay. Kind of build momentum. But then we have the stupid pistol formation again that I, again, despise. And we're trying to do the option run out of it, 2 yards. So now we've got Cam, again, not in pistol formation. And he's actually doing a speed option to the right. Very effective. Cam probably could have gotten more yardage out of it, but hey, 4 yards is better than 2. Not getting sacked multiple times in a row. Shockingly, we moved King out of his spot in the center of the pocket, and he's much more dangerous. Not rocket science. But again, Miami penalty, another false start. And then he is rolling out here, and he's forced to throw it away. But at least he's not getting sacked. By rolling out, he's not in a position where he's losing yardage. So then we get into more trouble. Another incomplete pass. This one was supposed to be back shoulder. Miscommunication between Harley and King. And then 3rd and 15, 5 yards complete to Charleston Rambo. Again, a nice little rollout. He looked comfortable when he was doing those rollouts, which last year throwing on the run was not his strong suit. He looked very comfortable against Alabama doing the rollouts. And he looked fine when he had time in the pocket, but this is Alabama. They weren't going to have time no matter what. So what I'd like to see more of is mixing in the rollouts and the quick passes. All right, 4th and 10. Right down the middle of the gut. Just a bullet from King. And so, again, I could see Lashley trying to make these passes easier for King. Keep it in the middle of the field, direct, don't have to throw it too far with accuracy in terms of stretching it left to right, just right down the middle of the gut. Good stuff, because we never did this last year. All right, then we had a pass interference call. That one was him trying to put it in the end zone, a great deep ball by King. The guy's definitely put in a ton of work over the offseason to try and be more precise in his passing, and it's great. But we don't need to make him one-dimensional. And that was basically, after that, we didn't have any more time, so we decided to just settle for the field goal to end the half. Anyway, start the second half. This is the most important drive of the entire game, as in terms of offense. The most important drive in terms of offense. Where do we start? We do basically play action, drag them across the field formation. Harley is fast, but he's not that fast. Alabama was waiting for him on that side of the field. Keep that in mind because they're going to be waiting for the rest of the game. Oh, hey, third quarter, we finally throw the ball to Will Mallory again. Great. It was just a stop route. How hard was that to get Mallory open earlier in the game when we needed 5 yards instead of 1 yard run to the left, 1 yard run to the right? Who knows? All right. So now we got Harley, and this one a little out of sorts. But again, King rolls to the right. It's a designed rollout, gets him for 7 yards. This is what we should have been doing for the entire first half until they showed that they could stop it. All right. So then we do a quick pass, again behind the line. Cameron tries to run up the gut, and he's trying to do basically a counter option. It's not a good sign. He should be either running across the formation or not at all. Only because then you have King in a position where he could break the other way. Again, force Alabama to make a decision instead of having them stack one side of the formation, which is what they did there. Anyway, 3rd and 7, great completion. Again, just right at the heart of Alabama's defense, right in the heart of their secondary. Go for it, get those yards after the catch. Good stuff. Then right after that, hitting X almost in the identical same spot. Good stuff. But now is where we want to mix it up, maybe a little, kind of. We get the play action, or rather the option, and then throw to the screen. Again, not a bad play design. These are all good things. So then we decide that we're going to run with Cameron. Good. 3rd and 5, run him again, even better. And this one was because he basically went right up the gut. We attacked the heart of this Alabama defense. Sometimes we got into trouble when we didn't attack it, or if we weren't going to attack the heart, we needed to roll out left to right. Again, go to your strengths. So anyhow, 1st and goal, this is where everything goes to hell. We try to run it out of this formation. Yeah, this is harder to attack anybody's defense when you're compressed. What I'd love to see today against App State is a better goal line offense. We need to be more, not even aggressive, but just stretching the field. Running here, not great. His incomplete pass was not a bad idea. Again, it's the stretch, what we did at the very beginning of the game. Alabama was kind of ready for it, but we only ran one receiver, and that was Will Mallory out there. Charleston Rambo ran down instead and tried to block. And so basically King had one option. That was to throw to Mallory or nobody. If we're stretching the field, even inside the red zone, we expand the amount of space that has to be defended. Here, he had to throw it away because he had one receiver and they were all over him. So then 3rd and goal, he runs for 5 yards, right up the gut. They did the fake screen, which I thought was very, very good. And so then on 4th and goal, we decided to just basically do this formation, which makes it clear to everyone that King is not handing the ball off. He's running it. It's obvious. It's painfully obvious. There's no other thing here where they're just running the ball. And the ref stepped in and basically made everybody stop before he could actually get up to the line and snap it. As soon as they made you stop, you might as well have reset, picked a different play, even called a timeout. You need to score here. And we didn't. So I want to talk about that last series of plays is basically like trying to push a pass pawn. Pass pawn is one that's basically free and clear to the end zone without any other pawns to stop it. So it's an advantage because it forces the players, the other pieces, the important pieces, to basically be tied down in defending against a relatively small piece, a relatively small gain. You got to bring everybody in to defend against a 1 yard gain instead of a 10-yard gain. Fine. So in this particular case, White has this setup where it's pretty much nothing that Black can do to stop this piece from getting to where it wants to go. Now, doesn't mean that it's going to be super easy, but there's no way for Black to actually prevent the piece from reaching the end zone because it's supported, it's strong, it is not isolated. This is the example of an isolated pawn. Really not that much difference from one to the other, but because White's overextended and tried to push too much with this pawn is not strong on its own. It needs support. And so when it has no support, it becomes a target and is more likely to fail. In this particular setup, which again, not wildly different from before, but now all of a sudden Black can target it. This bishop is going to basically move and attack the pawn, and there's nothing that White can do, even though the pawn is so close to being successful. It's just not going to happen. It's basically what happened back here with King. When you set him up like this, he has no support. You have no other options here other than to potentially pass the ball. But again, you're not really blocking. You've got Cheney and you've got Mallory on the ends trying to help block. It's not a big formation. He's got nothing. So it just, like I said, it's like pushing an isolated pass pawn. Yeah, it's a good idea in theory, but it doesn't work. It goes from being an advantage to have a mobile quarterback to being a disadvantage when you try to run him up the gut from 1 yard out with no support. So, anyway, because of that, we give them the ball on the 1 yard line. They throw a 99-yard touchdown pass, basically, because the refs hate us. But even without that, that was the game right there. We needed to score a touchdown there. Right then and there, open the second half, score a touchdown, make it clear that we're still here to stay. And we weren't. We just weren't. So the woodshed continues. So here, rolls out to the right, tries to hit X. He drops the pass. Not a bad design play at all. And again, rolling him out of the pocket, getting him into a comfortable position. Was a little behind, but X should have caught that ball. It's okay. It's not the end of the world, except that the next play, it is the end of the world because he gets intercepted. And he doesn't roll out. He just tries to throw it into double coverage. Now, was there pass interference? Absolutely. 100%. That was an Alabama no call. But he feels like he has to force it because, again, the formation, the way it's set up, he's not being asked to be mobile. Just bad stuff all around. So, now it's 41-3. What do? We actually do start doing things, I think, appropriately. We've got a action to the right, roll out left, throw it out, dump it into the flat. Across the formation to Rambo, who gets 7 yards. I like Rambo a whole lot. I think that he's an excellent addition to this offense for a lot of different reasons. Then we've got second and 3. Cheney runs for a first down, right up the gut, because we're not afraid of you, Alabama. We just don't know how to execute. So then we run it again, right up the gut. Cheney, boom, Cheney me. Second and 4, incomplete, but we get the pass interference, and that was because he was looking to be aggressive, but also I think he was looking to get a call. He saw the one-on-one coverage. It worked out well. We need to see more of that. More, and it's not even aggressive. It's more of a hunter's mentality. If you see the opportunity, you seize it. So we didn't really have that against Alabama, as we'll see. It was the reason why we only scored 1 touchdown this entire game. So we got Rambo here off of the play action, the option, kind of the RPO option. So, and then he's trying to look for Keyshawn. That one was just well defended. Keyshawn didn't fight back for the ball. He'll get better. I was very impressed with him as well. I like that our guys are taking over as soon as possible. This was the only designed QB run for the entire game, which I thoroughly enjoyed the fact that we didn't use it a lot, and then when we did, it was very successful. I thought that was used sparingly but effectively, but compared to running off tackle left, off tackle right, maybe we should have run King a little more, only based on what it should have been instead. But that's okay. Here we are. Okay, now the touchdown. Great fight from Xavier. I think he pushed off a little bit, but hell, they weren't calling it really for Alabama. I'm glad they didn't call it for us either. It was nice to get, for at least one play, kind of a even playing field. And he fought for it and he won, and that was 9,000 times better than what we got from our receivers last year. Our 1 touchdown of the game. Come back. We stop them on defense. We're rolling. We actually get the turnover chain going. We're here to score. We're starting on their 25-yard line. Start off with a screen pass, 7 yards to Keyshawn Smith. Good stuff. Then we run Cheney not once, but we run him twice. We get that first down. Now, we didn't get a lot of yards. They knew that we were going to run it at them, but we pushed through anyway. These are the seeds of a very, very strong offense. But notice how we're running between the tackles. None of this off-tackle bullshit. If you're going to run off tackle, roll King out left or right so he could pass or run. So anyway, then we do action to the left. We run Cheney back the other way. We dump it to him in the flat, and he gets 4 yards and apparently kills Henry To'oTo'o. Fair enough. Now here, it was intercepted, but there was holding. It was a whole thing. Fine. My thing here is that, again, King is looking to throw in them part of the defense, and that's fine. But when you're in the red zone, you're on the 11-yard line, you can look to the corners as well. Stretch the field more. That's from the play design that we can absolutely do better. Because this whole run off the edge, I don't know. It's fine, but when you're running, everything's flowing the same direction. It means the defense is more likely to react appropriately. When you force them to split and go left or right, that's when you have a lot more opportunities, in my opinion. Something that we did early in the game and did very rarely afterwards. I think we did it 6 times the whole game, and we did it 2 or 3 times in the first quarter. Anyway, so first and goal here, this is where we can't score from 5 yards out. He does roll out to the left. He tries to throw it back across his body to Rambo. He shouldn't be trying to throw to Rambo there. You could even see from the angle, it's not a good pass to have to torque your body around to make that pass. So I don't know. I think, in my opinion, you run Rambo a little more shallow. It's an easier pass, not even across the body, but he could literally do like a shovel pass to him, and maybe we're in better position. Maybe. But then we try to run out of this very heavily run, offense or formation, and he doesn't go anywhere. I mean, you're not going to win them all. And then he gets sacked, which it was just sad because he had nowhere to go. It was kind of a design rollout, kind of, but again, we can't even try to run the ball from the 5-yard line. It was just sad. So we settle for a field goal, and then we end the game. Boom, done. This is the last play that King gets against Alabama. He throws an interception with 7.5 minutes left in the fourth, and then we bring in Van Dyke, and that's the end of the game. This is the final score. He tries to force in double coverage again. So this is the thing that I don't like. Definitely subscribe. Check us out. I'm going to give you my 3 keys for today. Number 1, if you're going to try and stretch the defense left and right, you better be rolling D'Eriq King out left or right, or both. If you're going to go wide, use the most mobile person on your offense. 2, if we are going to try and run the ball, attack the heart of the defense. Because we were able to do it against Alabama, we should be able to do it against everyone. And 3, don't make King be the person who has to win everything for you. You have great players around him this year. He should not feel like he has to be forcing everything and just having to do everything himself. He's a huge part of our offense, but we need to do more to take the load off of him in terms of our scheme and our play calling. In my opinion, that means, again, more rollouts where he's more comfortable and feeding Will Mallory the ball so that he's got that safety blanket established. So whenever he feels like he's in trouble, he could throw it to Mallory. Mallory will be able to make sure that the ball at least doesn't get intercepted, because 2 picks against anybody is not good for our quarterback. I don't care who the defense is. So with that said, tune in next week. With luck, it won't take until next Saturday for the game to come out, for the analysis to come out. But as always, go Canes, and we'll see you all next time.